The Gold Star Grower Program recognizes growers across North Carolina whose temporary housing for agricultural workers meets and exceeds the requirements of the Migrant Housing Act. The Gold Star Flag Program goes beyond housing to include equipment safety, pesticide safety, and other hazards associated with an agricultural setting. Those farms who have reached Gold Star status understand the importance of fostering a safety culture on their farms and have played a key role in helping our state reduce injuries and illnesses in the farming community. Participants of the program say that the benefits far outweigh the invested time and effort. Every farm incident involves quantifiable cost in terms of medical emergency services, direct and indirect health care cost, lost productivity, and increased insurance cost. Participating in the Gold Star Grower and Flag programs can help farmers and operators reduce these costs while creating a safer work environment for all.
Agriculture provides employment and income for more than 800,000 North Carolinians. It's also an industry that can exact a substantial human cost. Farm machinery, agricultural chemicals, grain bins, and farm animals all can place workers in the danger zone. We believe all agriculture-related illnesses, injuries, and fatalities are preventable. The Gold Star Grower Program and the Gold Star Flag Program are partnerships that address the health and safety of the agricultural workforce by viewing the problem from multiple perspectives, from the grower, farm worker, and safety professional. The successful Gold Star Flag candidate shall have owned or operated housing that meets the criteria for the Gold Star Grower Award for at least 2 years. Know and use appropriate field sanitation. Have certification for all personnel handling pesticides. Have a written or oral safety program for the use of pesticides, injury prevention, and worker training. Have an injury and accident record below the average for the industry. Have safe and approved storage of equipment and chemicals. Please visit this website for additional information on the Gold Star Grower Flag Program.
The first thing I wanted to do was just talk about our safety concerns, because we have a lot of them. We're outdoor manual labor, so heat is a big one for us, and we have to be concerned about that. Equipment safety is a big one for Johnson Nursery. We have tractors, forklifts, conveyors, big equipment, so a lot of concern there. Chemical safety, as is for anyone in the agriculture industry, is a big concern. The number one reason for accidents for us is simply walking. People twisting their ankle, stepping on something that they shouldn't step on. Finally on this list, and the list isn't complete, is this employee behavior. What do we do about employees' attitude? We have 12 employees who have been trained and certified in first aid and CPR. Our goal is for them to know what to do in case there's an accident. Do we call the rescue squad? If we do call the rescue squad, how do we care for them until the rescue squad comes? If we don't need the rescue squad, then we just want to make sure that we're taking care of this employee. The second thing that we've done that may be worthy of recognition is, and this is from the Department of Labor, that our rules are of no value unless we enforce them. Seatbelt infractions, we have a rule about seatbelts, but if we don't enforce that rule, then we may as well not have the rule. So for us, if you're caught driving a piece of equipment and not wearing a seatbelt, you can get written up and you can even get terminated. Another rule is there's absolutely no reason for drug use here. No tolerance for that whatsoever. Alcohol, drug use, you'll lose your job for that.
As a farm owner and operator, if you aren't interested in preventing employee injury and illness, no one else is likely to be. It's essential you assess your farming operation to identify all potential hazards and take steps to eliminate or protect against those hazards.
I think training's very important to everyone because everyone wants to do a good job. We don't want anyone to get hurt. Nobody wants to have to explain to their family that, you know, we have no food because we got hurt. So being trained and following the guidelines I think makes it a very win-win situation. When you ask who's responsible for safety, there's only one person, you. So really, our mindset is you, as the employee, doesn't matter what level you are the one that is responsible for safety.
Once you've identified hazards, set up a control system to eliminate them. Train your employees, encouraging discussion and rewarding excellence. And be sure to document these steps. Maintain equipment records, work site inspections, and training records.
One of the big things that we learned a long time ago is we have to have a pretty extensive maintenance program for all of our equipment. We have it all in the computer system. It's all by an asset number. It tells us the year we purchased it, tells us what we paid for it even. We keep track of it. We set it up on a scheduled maintenance program. Tractors every so many hours go in for oil changes, and then they go through and check the brakes and make sure everything's all right.
When we receive for first time an employee to work here in this company, we provide a video where it shows a little bit of every of the safety rules that we have here. We talk about the PPE, how they should be wear this special suit if they apply chemicals. We teach really everybody, not just the people who apply chemicals. Everybody should be wear gloves for safety. Any chemical residue, if there are on the place, then they should be worked. Another part from the PPE, it's the goggles or safety glasses. One of the rules that we have is they should be wear glasses if they touch a plant. That's one of the important rules, because if they wear glasses, they avoid any dust or any branch from the plant to damage the eyes of these people. We really try to protect our employees as much as we can.
We'll begin by conducting a work site analysis covering agricultural hazards that have proven to be fatal or cause injury on North Carolina farms. Most farm accidents and fatalities involve machinery. Tractors, tobacco harvesters, and forklifts are useful farm machines, but if they're not maintained or properly operated, serious accidents can occur. Previous videos have discussed tobacco balers, harvesters, and forklifts. What about tractors? In 2011, 2 of the 8 agricultural fatalities in North Carolina were tractor-related. Tractor accidents remain the leading source of death and injury on farms. At a minimum, agricultural employers using a written checklist should ensure that tractors have regular safety inspections. Employees receive annual training in safe tractor operation. Employees should be prohibited from operating unsafe vehicles. Clean and reflective slow-moving vehicle signs are used where required. Larry Brantley of the Berry family of nurseries reviews the tractor training they give.
Then we in turn say, okay guys, here's what you got to do in order to be able to drive this tractor. You've got to learn the safety precautions. You've got to learn how to handle shipments going down the road. You got to go in the beds. You got to pass employees. You got inside the beds is narrow. And once you pass your tractor test, we put them through, you issue the vest and you issue the driving license. So it's like you get your driving license from DMV. That's what we do here. Every morning, these guys check the oil, the fuel. They check the water in the radiator. They look at the tire pressure. Like I say, when they get on and check the brakes, that's 4 critical stages we have to do every day.
Tractors manufactured after 1976 are equipped with rollover protection structures, an important component of tractor safety. Even with these structures, operators must use seat belts. You must also ensure that all machines are properly maintained and properly guarded. Moving machine parts are particularly hazardous. You, your family, and your employees must be protected from coming in contact with moving machine parts through the use of guards, shields, or guarding by location. Common machine hazards around moving parts include pinch points, where two parts move together and at least one of them moves in a circle. Wrap points, where any exposed component rotates. Shear points, where the edges of two moving parts move across one another, or where a sharp single part moves with enough speed or force to cut soft material. Pull-in points, where objects are pulled into equipment, usually for some type of processing.
We have guards on our equipment here. It prevents people from sticking their hands inside the equipment, pinch points in the chain and stuff. There's different styles. You got styles that are just vented that lets trash and stuff fall through but not get into the equipment. The guards also almost have like a second purpose. They help protect the stuff behind it, keep the weather off our chains, everything, keep the grease on them longer.
When guards cannot be provided, operators must avoid contact with hands or clothing in pinch point areas. Never attempt to hand feed materials into the moving feed rollers. Also, do not service or unclog a machine while it's operating or the engine is running. Machines are faster and stronger than people.
In addition to the guards on their belts and our roller bearings, we also have emergency shutoffs. We have one on each side of the hoppers so that if anybody on either side can shut it off immediately. All you do is hit it like that, and it does not reset it when you pull it back out. You have to reset the entire dirt line then.
Power takeoff shafts, known as PTOs, are widely used on farms. They transfer power from tractors to trailing implements. They can also be very dangerous. They rotate at speeds of up to 1,000 RPMs and can instantly entangle clothing, jewelry, limbs, or hair. To prevent injury or death from PTOs, keep a master shield or similar guard on all PTO shafts, even when the PTO is not operating. Prominently position signs on PTO-driven equipment that remind operators to keep the master shields in place. Keep hands, feet, clothing, and hair away from PTOs. Never operate PTO shafts at extreme angles. Be sure the PTO spinner shields rotate freely at all times. Always disengage all power and shut off the tractor before servicing. Never hook 540 RPM equipment to a 1000 RPM PTO or vice versa. Working around overhead power lines is one of the most common sources of shock or electrocution in agricultural operations. Accidental contact with live overhead power lines can kill or cause serious injury. Farm workers can also be injured when a person or object gets too close to a power line and flashover occurs. Work involving tall vehicles or long equipment is particularly risky. This equipment includes combines, sprayer booms, tipper vehicles, ladders, and even forklifts, which can extend their height in normal operation. Always treat overhead power lines as if they were bare. There may be no insulation or inadequate insulation due to time and weather. Maintain a clearance of 10 feet between power lines and tops of equipment. Electrocutions may occur even if actual contact is not made with the line. The greater the line voltage, the further electricity is able to jump to a ground conductor. Prohibit storage or upending of irrigation pipe within 100 feet of power lines. Before employees service equipment, it's critical they know whether hazardous energy can cause the equipment to start or move unexpectedly and how to isolate that energy. To prevent inadvertent startup, re-energizing, or release of uncontrolled hazardous energy, it's essential that lockout procedures be implemented and enforced. Wayne Davis of Berry Family of Nurseries describes the lockout procedure they use when working with electrical power.
Okay, so we're here at the panel box for my 100 horsepower irrigation pump motor. It's a 480 volt 3-phase system. When it's running It pulls about 190 amps. It's a lot of amps. It'll kill you quick. And we need to lock it out before we do any checks on the motor or anything with the coupling or the pumps or anything. And I'm going to show you how to properly lock this panel out. So the first thing you do, turn it off. Pull your safety lever out. Sometimes you have to work them around. Keep it out. Put your lockout device on. In case you have other people working with you, you got multiple lockout points. And my supervisor is the only one besides me supposed to have a key for this, so nobody can come and unlock it. So now the power should be dead. You check it with your start. Make sure it won't do anything. Then you can walk to around here to your motor and do any checks you want. Everything, so that's the proper way to lock it out.
When most people think of uncontrolled hazardous energy, they immediately think of electricity. But there are other sources of energy that can be just as hazardous. These energy sources include thermal, chemical, pneumatic, hydraulic, mechanical, and gravitational. Train your employees to do the following. Develop a written energy control program to protect employees. Train employees to recognize sources of hazardous energy and to know how to control it. Use only locks that are dedicated for lockout-tagout purposes, that are easily recognizable, assigned to only one employee, and have a unique key or combination. Try to restart the equipment at the control panel to ensure that it's secured. Always follow instructions in operators' manuals for servicing hydraulic systems. Slips, trips, and falls are the #1 safety hazard both at work and at home. Often ignored and overlooked, they're responsible for 1 in every 5 work-related injuries. Workers at high elevations, such as ladders, platforms, or catwalks, should be protected from falling by some kind of fall protective device. This can be a protective cage, a lifeline, lanyard, safety belt, or harness. Rubber mats can reduce a worker's chance of slipping on a metal structure. Same level falls are generally slips or trips. Clearly marking potential problem areas in the workplace also helps reduce these kinds of accidents. No riders should be permitted on tractors, trucks, or other self-powered or towed equipment unless a safety seat or workstation is provided. Farm equipment is legally entitled to travel on most roads in North Carolina. However, farm equipment is not allowed on interstate highways. Make sure your tractors and other slow-moving farm vehicles have the appropriate lighting and a slow-moving sign visible to those traveling behind. Regulations concerning driving farm equipment on North Carolina roads can be found at this North Carolina Department of Labor website. In the field, agricultural employers must provide their employees, without cost, cool, fresh drinking water along with drinking cups. Workers must be allowed sufficient time to drink water, at least 1 cup every 30 minutes. Additionally, if the workers will be in a field more than 3 hours, they must have access to a field toilet. Employers must provide at least 1 toilet for every 20 employees. The field toilet must have hand soap, water for hand washing, and disposable towels. The toilet itself must be within a 1/4 mile of employees who are working. The employer shall notify each employee of the location of the sanitation facilities and drinking water. Each employee should be allowed reasonable opportunities to use them.
Is this for us, and I think for anyone, safety is simply an attitude. Safety says to our employees, we care about you, we care about your families. We want you to work here for a long time. We want you to go home at night and be with your family. And I think that our employees get that, and in turn, they turn around and they help us have a safe environment. I can't dictate safety, so it has to be an attitude passed down from me and then passed back up through our employees.
The Agricultural Safety and Health Bureau can help growers customize safety programs to meet their specific needs. These safety experts are trained to help growers identify and eliminate all hazards. We encourage all farm owners and operators to strive to obtain Gold Star status. Please use our website as a resource for information, and should you have any questions about the program, do not hesitate to contact the Agricultural Safety and Health Bureau. We look forward to working with you.